And we're live once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, and you know that if you're watching on YouTube on the Mobile Geezer channel, but you might be watching on Facebook on Mobile Geezer or George Hayes. And I want to recognize Eleanor was the first one in here, and Annette just popped in also. So, two of the most faithful right off the bat. Hi, Annette. Hi, Eleanor. I already said hi to Eleanor. I had to do my corny thing, you know me. She has said, hope everyone has a fabulous Memorial Day weekend, which I second that. I came back with, hi, Eleanor, welcome back. And of course, I added, at least I didn't add Cotter. And for those of you youngsters, well, I guess you don't have to be youngsters. I'm talking about a TV show that went from 75 to 79. It was called Welcome Back, Kotter. And one of the stars that emerged from it was John Travolta, who was 20 years old when it started. So, you know, that goes way, way back. So, Annette's here, Eleanor's here. And if you're new here, please type something in the comments. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're from, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And again, if you're new, we do this every Friday night. I pick some articles that I think might be interesting to tech heads like myself, and I showed them to you on my webpage, and we talked about them a little bit. And while I'm talking about my website, let me go show you the show notes for tonight's show. So share screen here. Okay. So if you want to follow along, just go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. Click on today's date. You'll get the show notes just for tonight's show. And as I do every week, I'll give you a little preview and we'll go over what we're going to talk about in the articles. And I have not heard from Ted, who was here last week. So I probably should take a quick look on Telegram and see if he has sent any message, which I neglected to do before this. I'm trying to look at it on Telegram, and I'm on my iPhone, which I don't even know where the icon is on my iPhone. And there it is. Okay. Usually if Ted's not going to make it, he'll give me a note saying he's not going to make it. On the Friday Night Tech Talk crew site, but no, nothing there. So maybe we'll get lucky and Ted will be in here tonight. Meanwhile, let's go to the preview of tonight's articles. So we're going to start with everybody picked this one up. And it started on Twitter on Wednesday. And then everybody picked up the note on Twitter that Johnny Ive and OpenAI are creating a new device. And by Thursday morning, there was a bunch of articles out there. So I picked two, both of them from Phone Arena. Johnny Ive and OpenAI creating the mystery AI device, because nobody knows for sure what it is as yet. So I got that on Phone Arena. That came out on Thursday morning, but in the afternoon, another article by a separate writer on Phone Arena, and they had learned a little bit more about it. A separate AI device that actually works, I said, unlike its predecessors, and I talked about Rabbit AI and Humane AI, which you'll see that in the article. So we're still not exactly sure what it is, but a little more information came out. So those will be the first two stories we go over. Then, I always add the second story to give people time to come in. What I think is the big story of the week. And last week we went over the I/O show that Google had put out before Google I/O, but now I've got one everything learned at Google I/O. I picked an article on The Verge, so we'll take a look at the 15 things that came out that we learned at Google I/O 2025. Then I found an article on Phone Arena. I said Samsung on the ascension while Apple descends. It sounds like Google's Google. Sounds like Apple's kind of on its way down as far as sales, and Samsung's kind of on its way up. You'll see what I mean. It's just a short article. Followed by, this was, I guess, my heavy-duty one for the week, or the serious one of the week. Turns out Microsoft employees can't send emails with Palestine, Gaza, or genocide in the email anywhere. So they're being totally blocked. I just found that to be an interesting article. I thought you might also. I didn't even realize Microsoft has already fired employees for demonstrations about this stuff. So, and then this was a kind of a cool article. Well-known Georgia hospital will use Apple devices exclusively in response to last year's CrowdStrike outage. And if you remember the CrowdStrike outage last year, it only affected Windows devices, which I guess pushed this hospital towards Apple, and Apple's pretty happy about that. And I gather it's the first time one company's devices have been used exclusively. So an interesting article. Then we'll finish up with, we know the president went over to Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates last week, along with Elon and Sam Altman and some others. Well, something has come out of it. It's going to be called Stargate UAE, because there's already a Stargate. I guess it'll be in the U.S. and other countries, but they're going to have a Stargate for the United Arab Emirates. It's a combined project of NVIDIA, OpenAI, Cisco, and Oracle. So we'll take a look at that article on CNBC.com. So nothing else new in the comments. As I often forget to do, I try to let you guys know which ones I took to work. So this week it was the Nothing Phone 3A Pro and my iPhone 15 Pro Max. So those were two devices that I took to work with me today. So no Ted as yet, if he's going to show up at all. Not sure. So we'll go on with our stories. And of course, if I'm alone, then of course it'll be a quick night. Pardon me. So back to presenting screens. Let's see. Remember last week I finally figured out how to share a video when I'm sharing screens. So I'm going to continue that this week, because one of these stories has a video in it. But the first one doesn't. So Johnny Ive and OpenAI creating the mystery AI device. So like I said, I got this on Phone Arena. Let's go take a look. OpenAI and Johnny Ive's stealthy first device, that they're calling it stealthy because nobody knows what it is, won't be a phone or wearable of any sort. Unfortunately, we still have no idea how this unobtrusive AI companion will look when it comes out late next year. So we're going to be waiting a while. And I think the next story even says it's going to be a little further out than that. But this was written by Adrian Diaconescu. I just think I'd be used to saying his name by now. And it was written yesterday at 6:58 in the morning. Like I said, the next article was written in the afternoon. So first we'll go through this one. Let's drop it into reader view. The creators of ChatGPT and the lead designer of Apple's original iPhone took the entire tech world by surprise yesterday with the official announcement of a major merger intended to revolutionize the way artificial intelligence is integrated in our daily life. And now the first details on exactly what that entails are unofficially coming to light. There's not really many details, but you'll see. Unfortunately, the inside information collected by the Wall Street Journal from an internal preview given by OpenAI co-founder and CEO Sam Altman to the AI research organization's employees is not very precise. That's putting it mildly. Focusing more on what the groundbreaking product expected out late next year will not be than how it will actually look. So he's telling us what it won't be, not what it is. A third core device for existing smartphone and laptop users. That's right, Sam Altman and presumably Johnny Ive too expect you to put whatever OpenAI is preparing on your desk next to your iPhone or Android handset and MacBook or Windows PC rather than give up on your current gear for work or fun. Right off the bat, that makes me skeptical of this product's chances to achieve mass appeal, especially without any kind of screen intel. Yes, Altman and I reportedly want to wean users from screens and at the same time somehow ship 100 million units. Talk about being optimistic. This thing faster than any company has ever shipped 100 million of something new before. So yeah, they really have their hopes up for this one. To put that number in perspective, a mobile industry giant and veteran like Apple shipped an estimated 104 million smartphones in 2024 around the world. That's all year. A more relevant comparison would probably be with the first gen iPhone, which crossed the 1 million unit sales mark 74 days after its release. So 1 million in 74 days. Back in 2007, ending its entire commercial run with only a little over 6 million copies sold worldwide. And of course, this is, 18 years ago, so big difference. Of course, times have changed since 2007, and Apple's 2024 shipment total makes that abundantly clear. But Sam Altman's hardware sales ambitions remain hugely optimistic, to say the least, yeah. But what it's worth, OpenAI's founding father is aware that his company won't be able to ship 100 million devices literally on day one. Although that's not stopping Altman from promising employees that they'll be a part of the biggest thing, get this, we've ever done as a company here. Yes, apparently bigger than ChatGPT itself. That's hard to imagine. Not a phone, not a pair of glasses, not something to wear on the body in any form. And the next story may or may not dispute that. I told you this report was more negative than positive, so don't act surprised that you can't envision this design after the first clues leaked from the inside. The positive things we can say about OpenAI's potentially revolutionary companion device is that it will apparently be unobtrusive, fully aware of a user's surroundings and life, as well as capable of both fitting in your pocket and resting on your desk, depending on your changing needs throughout the day. Existing devices don't amount to the sci-fi dream of what AI could do to enable you in all the ways that I think the models are capable of. That's what Sam Altman said. If you're expecting me to try and anticipate a form factor based on these revelations, I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint you, as I feel I have better chances of getting the next lottery numbers right than Johnny Ive's design plans. What's even worse is that this complete uncertainty could well linger on for quite some time. Yeah, we're talking late next year. At least if OpenAI manages to keep the product as stealthy as Sam Altman wants to avoid other companies potentially copying its appearance and functionality before it's ready to take over the world. Of course, that might be yet another unrealistic goal that the likes of Apple, Samsung, and Google probably set for themselves every time they start working on a new product without any hopes of actually succeeding. So, all that to say, it won't have a screen. They say it won't be a wearable, and that's pretty much all we know. But we'll go over to the next story and we'll get a little more information. And nothing else new in the comments. As I said, that story came out in the morning on Phone Arena. In the afternoon, another Phone Arena story, different writer, a separate AI device that actually works, unlike its predecessors, Rabbit AI and Human AI Pin. So let's go take a look at that story. So that's from yesterday afternoon, as I said. Forget screens, more details emerge on the mysterious Johnny Ive and OpenAI device. New unofficial details hint at a neck worn, so that's why I said you may or may not think of it as a wearable, companion with a 2027 launch window. So now we're past the end of next year. And this was written by Giovanni Romero. So let's drop into, oh no, this one I don't want to drop into reader view because we have a video. Well, I'll do reader view first. And then as we get down, I'll take it out so we can check out the video a little bit. Ming-Chu Kuo, a well-known industry analyst, has shared early details about the mysterious AI hardware product being developed by OpenAI in collaboration with former Apple design chief Johnny Ive. While the announcement of this partnership has already stirred curiosity, Kuo's latest insights paint a clearer picture of the device and raise some familiar questions. Pardon me, got something caught in my throat. According to Kuo's post on X, the product is still in its early stages, with mass production not expected to begin until 2027, so now we're even further out. The current prototype is reportedly a compact, screenless gadget with a form factor that's slightly larger than the Humane AI Pin. He compares its size and elegance to the iPod Shuffle and mentions one proposed use case involves wearing it around the neck, which you'll see a picture of that. It'll rely on built-in cameras and microphones to detect its surroundings and will offload computing and display tasks to a connected smartphone or PC. Assembly is likely to take place in Vietnam, which Kuo says is meant to reduce geopolitical risks tied to China-based manufacturing. Quite smart, I'd say. The description is a bit at odds with the Wall Street Journal report that this device wouldn't be something to wear on the body, so we're not sure in any form. However, I guess that depends on whether having something hanging from your neck can be considered as not on your body. Now I'm going to drop this out of reader view, and we're going to take a look at the, there's the concept device. Supposedly you can hang around your neck. Well, like I said, that's a concept. So I'm going to give you guys a piece of a video. This is 9 minutes long. I'm not going to give you all of it, but it'll kind of give you an idea. And this was approved by OpenAI, this video. So let's take.
Reimagine what it means to use a computer.
Sam is a rare visionary. He shoulders incredible responsibility, but his curiosity, his humility remain utterly inspiring.
Johnny is the deepest thinker of anyone I've ever met. What that leads him to be able to come up with is unmatched.
I moved to America drawn by the exhilarating optimism of San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
We are sitting at the beginning of what I believe will be the greatest technological revolution of our lifetimes.
I have a growing sense that everything I've learned over the last 30 years has led me to this place and to this moment.
Morning, John.
Hey, Sam. Good. How you doing? Good.
So what is this announcement we're talking about?
2 years ago, John and I started talking about what the future of AI and new kinds of computers was going to look like. I was running OpenAI. Johnny's running a design firm called LoveFrom that had established itself as really the, I think, densest collection of talent that I've ever heard of in one place and probably has ever existed in the world. And it became very quickly apparent to both of us that we needed a third company.
A year ago, I
That's as much as I'm going to play of that, but that gives you an idea that these guys have been at this for 2 years. And the fact that they actually approved this video kind of says they're ready to make a big deal out of it now, even though it may be more than a year and a half away for us. But obviously they want it known. So let me drop it into Reader View and we'll check out the rest. So, an unofficial concept design based on Kuo's description is already circulating, and that's that hanging around the net that I showed you, offering a first visual impression of what this device could look like. I'm including that image just to give a better sense of the device's potential design direction, but keep in mind that this is just one artist's interpretation and by no means an official take. With Johnny Ive leading the effort, expectations are understandably high that the hardware will push boundaries in a way that earlier attempts did not. Skepticism ensues. That said, it's already very evident that the public is uncertain about where this is going. Devices like the AI Pin and Rabbit R1 have already tried to bring physical AI into our daily lives, but failed to find a broad audience. There's an understatement. They often felt more like experiments than essential tools, very true, raising the question of whether people really want standalone AI gadgets. So I'm thinking because Johnny Ive is very aware of that, this thing's going to have to be a knockout. That's my guess. Even so, the push toward physical AI is gaining momentum. Kuo suggests that OpenAI's public reveal of the project may have been strategically timed to shift attention away from Google I/O. That's probably true, where Google showcased deep AI integration across its products, and that's our next story, so you'll see. It's a reminder that OpenAI still has work to do in building a hardware ecosystem. The idea of a minimalist AI-powered companion is exciting on paper, and I think that its potential to succeed where others fell short might depend on whether Johnny Ive's design vision can turn curiosity into real demand. So because it's Johnny Ive, we're all excited, and of course we're all kind of expecting big things here. So nothing else new in the comments, so let me go back to presenting, sharing screen. And no Ted has showed up either. Okay. So we're going to our next story, and this is about Google I/O. Everything learned at Google I/O 2025, and I took this from The Verge. I may not read the entire thing, but we'll see. Oh, and with The Verge now, they want you to subscribe, and you're almost forced out regular. But if we go into Reader View, it won't force us out, I believe. Okay. The 15 biggest announcements at Google I/O 2025. Google just wrapped up its big keynote at I/O 2025. As expected, it was full of AI-related announcements ranging from updates across Google's image and video generation models to new features in search and Gmail. But there were some surprises too, like a new AI filmmaking app. Yeah, that was a surprise. And an update to Project Starline. If you didn't catch the event live, you can check out everything you missed in the roundup below. Yeah, I caught part of it live, but I came home and watched the rest anyway. Google has announced that it's rolling out AI Mode, a new tab that lets you search the web using the company's Gemini AI chatbot to all users in the US starting this week. So we should all have it, I guess, by now. Google will test the new features in AI Mode this summer, so some stuff is still coming, such as deep search and a way to generate charts for finance and sports queries. It's also rolling out the ability to shop in AI Mode in the coming months. Yeah, and the lady presenting that did a presentation how she could actually try something on virtually, and it was pretty impressive, I have to say. So this Google Beam. Project Starline, which began as a 3D video chat booth, is taking a big step forward. So now it's changed its name to Google Beam. It's becoming Google Beam and will soon launch, so it's still ahead, inside an HP branded device with a light field display and 6 cameras to create a 3D image of the person you're chatting with on a video call. I guess that's going to be the 3D image. Companies like Deloitte, Duolingo, and Salesforce have already said that they will add HP's Google Beam devices to their offices. Google has announced Imagen 4, the latest version of its AI text-to-image generator, which the company says is better at generating text and offers the ability to export images in more formats like square and landscape. Its next-gen AI video generator, Veo 3, will let you generate video and sound together, while Veo 2 now comes with tools like camera controls and object removal. So of course, I haven't seen any of this. I read about it and heard about it in the presentation. In addition to updating its AI models, Google is launching a new AI filmmaking app called Flow. The tool uses Veo, Imagen, and Gemini to create 8-second AI-generated video clips based on text prompts and or images. It also comes with scene builder tools to stitch clips together and create longer AI videos. Gemini 2.5 Pro adds an enhanced reasoning mode. The experimental Deep Think mode is meant for complex queries related to math and coding. It's capable of considering multiple hypotheses before responding and will only be available to trusted testers first. Google has also made its Gemini 2.5 Flash model available to everyone on its Gemini app and is bringing improvements to the cost-efficient model in Google AI Studio ahead of a wider rollout. And you guys probably know I tend to use Gemini on my phones. That's the AI I use the most, but I haven't tried any of this stuff as yet. So here's the new glasses. And I've seen a couple of videos from people who were at the event, and they seem pretty excited about these. XReal and Google are teaming up on Project Aura, a new pair of smart glasses that use the Android XR platform for mixed reality devices. We don't know much about the glasses just yet, but they'll come with Gemini integration and a large field of view, along with what appears to be built-in cameras and microphones. And like I said, the 2 videos I've seen of people who were there, they seem pretty excited about them and pretty happy with them already. Google is also partnering with Samsung, Gentle Monster, and Warby Parker to create other Android XR smart glasses as well. Project Astra could already use your phone's camera to see the objects around you, but the latest prototype will let it complete tasks on your behalf, even if you don't explicitly ask it to. That's kind of scary to me. The model can choose to speak based on what it's seeing, such as pointing out a mistake in your homework. Google is building its AI assistant into Chrome. Starting on May 21st, Google AI Pro, so that would have been 2 days ago, and Ultra subscribers will be able to select the Gemini button in Chrome to clarify or summarize information across web pages and navigate sites on their behalf. Google plans on letting Gemini work across multiple tabs at once later this year. Google is rolling out a new AI Ultra subscription that offers access to the company's most advanced AI models and higher usage limits across apps like Gemini, Notebook LM, which I've used a couple of times, Flow, and more. The subscription also includes early access to Gemini in Chrome and Project Mariner, which can now complete up to 10 tasks at once, and I've never used that at all. Speaking of Project Astra, Google is launching Search Live, a feature that incorporates capabilities from the AI assistant. By selecting the new Live icon in AI mode or lens, you can talk back and forth with Search while showing what's on your camera. And that's what I tend to do with my Gemini on my phone. I just interact with it back and forth. After making Gemini Live screen sharing feature free for all Android users last month, which I showed you a short demonstration of that last month, Google has announced that iOS users will be able to access it for free as well. Google has revealed Stitch, a new AI power tool that can generate interfaces using selected themes and a description. You can also incorporate wireframes, rough sketches, and screenshots of other UI designs to guide Stitch's output. The experiment is currently available on Google Labs. Oh, there was, I believe, a quick video in here that will give you an idea that you're not going to see in reader view. So, see if I can find it. At least I thought that. No, that wasn't it. Okay, maybe I'm remembering the wrong article. Sorry about the hold up. Maybe this is it. Let's take a look. This is basically just a commercial. So that's enough of that. That's probably going to be a TV commercial, is my guess. I thought there was another one, but I'm not finding it, so maybe I'm wrong. All right, so let's go back to reader view, and we'll finish up this article. Google is rolling out a new AI Ultra subscription, everything subscription, that offers access to the company's most advanced AI models and higher usage limits across apps like Gemini, Notebook. Oh, I bet you that already. Okay. We did Search Live. Okay, we did that already. And we talked about Stitch. Google Meet is launching a new feature that translates your speech into your conversation partner's preferred language in near real time. That's pretty cool. The feature only supports English and Spanish for now. It's rolling out in beta to Google AI Pro and Ultra subscribers, so we can't even try that out, I guess. Gmail's Smart Reply feature, which uses AI to suggest replies to your emails, will now use information from your inbox and Google Drive to pre-write responses that sound more like you. Makes you wonder, will it be doing this stuff behind your back? I don't know. The feature will also take your recipient's tone into account. Wow. allowing it to suggest more formal responses in a conversation with your boss, for example. I don't think I'd want my AI talking to my boss. Gmail's upgraded smart replies will be available in English on the web, iOS, and Android when it launches through Google Labs in July. So again, not quite yet. Google is testing a new feature that lets you upload a full-length photo. Oh yeah, this was a demonstration they showed in the presentation. That lets you upload a full-length photo of yourself to see how shirts, pants, dresses, or skirts might look on you. And it was pretty impressive to see that woman do that live on stage. It uses an AI model that understands the human body and nuances of clothing. So what this lady did, she showed a dress that she wanted to know what it looked like on her, on the website, and it told her, the AI told her to take a give it a full-length picture of herself, which it did, and then it showed her exactly what that dress would look like on her. It was pretty impressive. Google will also let you shop in AI mode, as well as use agentic checkout feature. An agentic checkout feature that can purchase products on your behalf. If Chrome detects that your password has been compromised, this is pretty cool. Google says the browser will soon be able to generate a strong replacement. Try to remember, is my guess, and automatically update it on supported websites. The feature launches later this year. Another one's still coming. And Google says it will always ask for consent before changing your password. That's a very good thing. So that's pretty much everything that was announced. And I'm thinking if you go on the Google or YouTube channel, you can watch the whole thing. That's what I did. And some of it was pretty impressive, as I said. So nothing else new. Go back to sharing. Yeah, when I go into sharing screen where I'm showing you videos, when I come out of it, it pops us back out of sharing. So I have to go back in. Okay. So nothing else new in the comments. Samsung on the ascension while Apple descends. That's how I put it. This was on Phone Arena, so this is a short one. Okay. When it comes to brand loyalty, Apple and Samsung are going in different directions. Apple and Samsung are going in opposite directions when it comes to customer loyalty. And this is from 2 days ago, written by Alan Friedman. So let's jump into review. Ever since the iPhone was released in 2007, the device has been owned by an extremely loyal bunch of consumers. Back in 2023, get this is impressive. The percentage of iPhone users who bought another iPhone when they upgraded hit an extremely impressive 94%. That's pretty impressive. That was the year that Apple released the iPhone 15 series, and I showed you I had the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But it appears that this was a peak for iPhone loyalty, according to data published by Consumer Intelligence Research Partners. After peaking at 94% in 2023, the percentage of iPhone users whose next phone was also from Apple took a shocking, I don't see it as shocking, but I guess they do, nosedive down to 89%, but from 94 to 89. To them, that's shocking. To me, okay, you lost a lot, but wasn't shocking, I don't think. And that percentage remained the same this year. It's easy to blame the decline on a lack of innovation on Apple's part. That's true. Interestingly, while Apple iPhone iPhone owners seem to waver in their loyalty, things are going the other way for Cupertino's top rival, Samsung. CIRP's data shows that the number of Galaxy phone owners who bought another Samsung Galaxy phone when the time came to upgrade has risen from 68% in 2021 to 76% this year. That's a pretty good jump, too. It hasn't been a straight rise in the up elevator for Samsung, as the South Korean manufacturer experienced a minor hiccup in 2024 was a small 1% decline in brand loyalty. And you can see all of that in this chart. The purple or lavender or lilac, whatever you want to call it, that's Apple. And the other color is Samsung. So you can see 2021 Apple, they said 94, but here it shows 93. Dropped down to 92 in 2022. But here's what, up to 94% in 2023. There's the big drop in 24, and it stayed the same again this year. Meanwhile, Samsung's 68, up 1% in 2022. Quite a jump up to 73 in 2023. One off in 2024, and then another jump up in. So they're saying they're going in opposite directions. The figures cited by CIRP are based on a survey showing the percentage of previous smartphone owners who owned an iPhone or Samsung Galaxy handset and purchased a new phone during the quarter the survey took place. The survey covered purchases of new mobile phones rather than limiting it to CIRP's quarterly survey of Apple customers. While this might seem like a loyalty battle between Apple and Samsung, it goes deeper than that. Keep in mind that a phone owner leaving Samsung can be switching to a different Android phone manufacturer. On the other hand, an iPhone owner dropping iOS will most likely end up on Android. So just an interesting article in my opinion. Like I said, when I come out of there, it kicks you out of sharing screen. So we will go on. Share screen again. And we'll go into our next story. Yeah, this was my real serious one of the week. Microsoft employees can't send emails with Palestine, Gaza, or genocide. This I found on The Verge. So let's go take a look. Microsoft blocks emails that contain Palestine after employee protests. Employees discovered that the emails with a variety of terms related to Gaza and Palestine have been blocked internally. Let's go into read review before they try to force me to subscribe. Oh, and this is written by Tom Warren. I think it was 2 days ago. Yep. Microsoft employees have discovered that any emails they send with the term Palestine or Gaza are getting temporarily blocked. I wonder, they say temporarily blocked. So I guess they can get it back somehow. I don't know. From being sent to recipients inside and outside the company. The No Azure for Apartheid, that's a protest group reports that dozens of Microsoft workers have been unable to send emails with the word Palestine, Gaza, and genocide in email subject lines or in the body of a message. Words like Israel or Israel or P4Palestine do not trigger such a block, so those can get through. It says NOAA organizer Hassam Nasser. NOAA believes, that's the protest group, believes that this is an attempt by Microsoft to silence worker free speech, I would agree, and is a censorship enacted by Microsoft leadership to discriminate against Palestinian workers and their allies. I don't know about that. Microsoft confirmed to The Verge that it has implemented some form of email changes to reduce politically focused emails inside the company. Emailing large numbers of employees about any topic not related to work is not appropriate, and pretty much any job will tell you that. Jobs I always worked did. We have an established form for employees who have opted into political issues, says Microsoft spokesperson Frank Shaw in a statement to The Verge. Over the past couple of days, a number of politically focused emails have been sent to tens of thousands of employees across the company, and we have taken measures to try to reduce those emails to those that have not opted in. And like I said, if it's not work-related, they probably shouldn't be using it on their email service. So that's very true. The block of these terms comes in a week when current and former Microsoft employees have been protesting against the company's contracts with the Israeli government during Microsoft Build Developer Conference. A Microsoft employee, Joe Lopez, disrupted the opening keynote of Build on Monday. I saw a video of that somewhere. During CEO Satya Nadella's keynote, Lopez yelled, "How about you show Israeli war crimes are powered by Azure?" Lopez then sent an email to thousands of Microsoft employees, and the company fired him on Monday, which I'd say he probably earned that. On day 2 of Build, a Palestinian tech worker disrupted Microsoft's head of Core AI. I didn't see that on his presentation. And then on Wednesday, 2 former Microsoft employees disrupted a Build session. And after the commotion, a Microsoft executive inadvertently revealed internal messages regarding Walmart's use of AI. Interesting. This week's protests come just days after Microsoft acknowledged its cloud and AI contracts with Israel, so there's the stem of their issue, but claimed that an internal and external review had found no evidence that its tools were used to target or harm people in Gaza. So, just an interesting article, and everybody's emotions are high over both sides of that. So you can see why some employees are upset. So I think I've got one more article left. No, 2 more. Okay, this was an interesting one. Well-known Georgia hospital will use Apple devices exclusively in response to last year's CrowdStrike outage, and we reported on that last year when it happened. I'm sure you remember that because that CrowdStrike outage happened worldwide. Okay, and this is on CNBC.com. When 20,000 devices were paralyzed by a bad update, a Georgia health system turned to Apple, and a pretty big health system also. And this was also published yesterday, written by Ashley Caput. So let's drop into read these ads. Apple devices will power a hospital in Georgia, a first for the company as it continues its push into the healthcare sector. Emory Healthcare, that's a pretty big healthcare system, on Thursday announced that its Emory Hillendale Hospital will be the first U.S. hospital that runs on Apple products, including the iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch, iMac, and Mac Mini. The devices will also integrate with software from Epic, the leading electronic health record vendor in the nation. I found it, of course, ironic that the health vendor is called Epic when they've been in a fight with Epic Games for years. That was just a little irony. Hillendale is using Apple products because they are user-friendly, require less IT support, offer cybersecurity advantages, and have long-lasting hardware and battery life, Emory executives told CNBC. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I had that turned off. Shows you what I know. Okay. Since this is new territory for the health system, Emory said it will closely monitor the device to ensure they improve the organization's quality of care. It can certainly be a game changer that's not been done anywhere else in the country, Emory Healthcare CEO Dr. June Lee said in an interview. And like everything else, it's not going to be without its challenges, but it really opens the door to multiple possibilities. And I gather this is a first for a hospital to use just one company's devices. Emory Healthcare is an academic health system in Georgia that operates 10 hospitals and supports roughly 26,400 employees. Its Hillendale facility is a 100-bed community hospital on the outskirts of the greater Atlanta metro area. At Apple, we believe in technology's power to improve lives, Dr. Sumbul Desai, Vice President of Health at Apple, said in a statement to CNBC. We're thrilled that Emory Hillendale Hospital is using Apple products to deliver exceptional care because doctors and nurses should have the best technology in the world to serve their patients. The health system's interest in using more Apple products was partially inspired by the major CrowdStrike outage that rocked businesses, including Emory, last July, said Dr. Ravi Thadhani, the executive vice president for health affairs of Emory University. Thadhani said more than 20,000 of the health system's devices were paralyzed by a faulty CrowdStrike software update. All over the world for a lot of companies. But notably, all of its Apple products were still working because it only affected Windows products. In the aftermath of the outage, executive asked engineers from Apple and Epic to visit Emory and explore a deeper integration. They were working on each other already. You could get Epic on an Apple device, but it wasn't quick and it wasn't seamless, so I guess they stepped that up. Thadhani said, and so they descended here. Epic is Emory's electronic health record, or EHR provider. EHRs are digital versions of a patient's medical history that are updated by doctors and nurses. The software is often referred to as the central nervous system of a healthcare organization, said Seth Howard, Epic's executive vice president of research and development. Howard said Epic has worked with Apple for many years, deploying apps for the iPhone as far back as 2010. Last year, the company released Epic on Mac, which made its complete suite of applications available on Apple's computer operating system, Mac OS. The Epic on Mac project was really an extension and natural next step for us in this journey with Apple, Howard said in an interview. Before Emory decided to roll out Apple devices throughout an entire hospital, it conducted a similar pilot across one floor of a facility. Thadhani said the feedback from doctors and nurses was phenomenal, which gave the health system confidence to expand the scope. If the launch at Hillendale is a success, Lee said the health system could deploy Apple products across other Emory facilities in the future. Certainly, our intent and hope is that it will show a difference and that we can expand, and it will also be a model for other health systems across the country. This could be a big boon for Apple, I would think. So, very interesting story. And now we're down to our last story. Stargate United Arab Emirates, combined project NVIDIA, OpenAI, Cisco, and Oracle. And I got this on CNBC.com, so let's go take a look. NVIDIA, Cisco, Oracle, and OpenAI are backing the UAE Stargate Data Center project. And this was published last Friday. It was written by Christina Partsinevelos, I think, and Chris Udaley, okay. Into review, get rid of the ads. And there's Jason Wang, who was with the president on this trip. And I was kind of shocked. I have never seen Jensen Huang without a leather jacket. This is the only time I haven't seen him wearing a leather jacket. So that just surprised me. U.S. tech giants NVIDIA, Cisco, Oracle, and OpenAI are supporting the UAE Stargate Artificial Intelligence Data Center, announced this week. Multiple people familiar with the deal confirmed Friday. AI chip leader NVIDIA, and Wang is the CEO of that, will supply hardware with the latest Blackwell GB300 systems. One person who asked not to be named in order to speak freely confirmed. Isn't that sad that a person has to be asked not to be named to avoid some kind of backlash? The data center will collaborate with the AI infrastructure project of the same name in the U.S., announced by President Donald Trump shortly after his inauguration on January, according to that person. Pardon me. Oracle is also involved in UAE Stargate, another person who asked not to be named in order to speak freely. That's so sad. Co-founder Larry Ellison was part of the U.S. Stargate announcement. UAE Stargate will be built in United Arab Emirates capital, Abu Dhabi, by the Emirati firm G42, according to the U.S. Commerce Department, which announced the data center. The massive campus will have 5 gigawatt capacity and cover 10 square miles. Time it for a little quick swig of Coke. Okay, let's get this finished up. Trump was in the UAE as part of his first state visit trip abroad in his second term. He also visited Saudi Arabia. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, and Cisco President Jeetu Patel were all in the UAE as well. Cisco, NVIDIA, and OpenAI all declined to comment for the story. The first phase of UAE Stargate includes a 1 gigawatt compute cluster, according to the Trump administration. So, I'm not going to read the rest, but you get the idea. So, big things are happening, both in America and overseas with AI. So, that's our last story, folks. Something is caught in my throat. Glad we're at the end. So I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend, has a wonderful Memorial Day. I don't have to be to work till the end of next week, and that's good for me. So hopefully we'll see you guys next Friday. And let's always remember, we all do better when we love each other, and maybe we'll get Ted next week. Have a good one, folks. See you next week.